Hello. Claudia, you requested that we have a playthrough going of me doing Enderal, so thought I'd just start doing that. Fortunately, it looks like when I last played, I was in the middle of combat, so I gotta go deal with that real quick. Sir. There we go. Alright, had to get rid of that combat music. I'm going to be posting this publicly on YouTube, but I'm going to be speaking directly to my girlfriend Claudia, as she is the one that's more interested in this. But, you know, if anyone else runs into this and finds it, feel free to hang around. So, this is Enderal. This is a total overhaul mod to Skyrim, in that it is just kind of made on the engine and using some of the assets and such. In terms of settings, story, and all that, it is an entirely new game. So I unfortunately am not at the beginning. I already have a playthrough running, and Claudia's already seen some of that. So I will just catch everyone up, including her, because it's been a while since I last played, on where I'm at. So this is the map of Enderal, as you can see. Not Skyrim, whole new map, and it's honestly been really well done so far. Basically, to give you a story recap, you wake up on a boat, you get caught because you snuck onto that boat with a friend. Your friend gets executed and you get tied up and thrown in the ocean, but miraculously you survive. You wash up on the shore somewhere down here. I want to say down here in the Sun Coast. Yeah, I think it's at that deserted ruin. Somewhere right around here is where you start. And basically, you wander out of this grove, you feel like shit, and you go and you meet some local healers. And the healers are telling you a bit about this land of Enderal. One of the things they tell you is that you have a condition called arcane fever. You see, in Enderal, the magic system is quite different from Skyrim, which is honestly a good thing. Skyrim's magic system is fun and accessible, but not the most balanced or polished or interesting at times, at least compared to previous Bethesda titles where things could get a little crazier. As an example, I'll go here into my magic menu. At this point, I've learned quite a number of things, but the important thing here, light magic, restoration, basically. They have new names, right? You've got mentalism, which is what was it called in Skyrim? This is basically the transformation spells, like transmutation and stuff like that. Psionics is kind of like illusionary magic. Elementalism, that's destruction magic, you know, lightning, fire, ice, all that. Entropy is like death magic. It's cool. It's like summoning, right? But beyond summoning, it's things that apply curses and draining health. Light magic is restoration. It offers things like, again, some health draining, some healing. But what you notice here is that if I go to any of the healing things, like Second Breath, heals allies, but worsens your arcane fever. You see, the arcane fever stat is a condition that you have because of whatever plot-related reasons. That's basically when you use certain magics, notably healing ones, you get arcane fever, which I believe, and I don't remember exactly because it has been a little bit since I played, but it's kind of an overall stat debuff to you, and it gets worse over time. Now, there are potions that can fix your arcane fever. Goes up by 1% when you use a healing spell or a healing item. So health potions all on their own regenerates health but worsens your arcane fever. So it's not like Skyrim, which had a very big issue, like every Bethesda game recently, honestly, where health items are abundant. Get out of here. Are you just a random? Okay, yeah, there are people that wander the world, which you love. That is a great feature for immersion, you know, random adventures and such. Anyways, to keep on track here, the Arcane Fever makes it so you can't just spam healing items. You can't just like pause mid-fight and just slam 20 bottles of health and get your full health bar back and just heal through everything because you stashed up stuff. Instead, it's a much more tactical option where, one, you usually don't use it in combat because the healing is decently slow. It's almost always over time. And beyond that, it's also going to make your Arcane Fever worse, which means you have to balance it with Ambrosia, a expensive potion you can find that lessens your Arcane Fever in chunks. So it's a balancing act, and Ambrosia is a fair bit harder to find. You'll see, oh, it's only worth what, 80 gold, but gold is much harder to come by. It's called pennies in this too, but the value of things, making money in this is much more restricted. So that's kind of a core mechanic to know about, is that Arcane Fever has made it so that the healing in this game is a lot more punishing, it is a lot slower, and you can't abuse it. And healing magic is not a get out of jail free, like I'll just sit here and wait for my mana to regenerate and heal endlessly between fights. Like, it's very common for you to go between fights and enter them without full health because you're like, oh, it's not worth me spending that right now. Donk. Donk. Now, at this point, luckily, I am a little bit built up. As you can see, I'm armored. I have a big orcish style warhammer. But this game is punishing, and I mean punishing compared to Skyrim. Like, you start off and you will see like 2 wolves and it will be a legitimate threat to your life. And that's not even on boosted difficulty. I usually play games like Skyrim, Fallout, Starfield, all that on the max difficulty because they are very accessible games meant for a very wide audience, and because of that, generally pretty easy. You know, not to be elitist on it, but it's not hard to play those games. But this is just at neutral. This is just at adept, and continuously from start to even now, and I'm built up, I will enter fights and just get destroyed by enemies that can do like half my health bar in a single hit. And being Skyrim, it's not as easy to cheese as say like Fallout or Starfield, where you can just like hide around corners and peek people with guns. Like, you have to get up in people's face and fight them. And things like the classic Bethesda stealth archer gameplay, not as effective. That's actually something I need to remember. Okay. So you'll see here in the classic Skyrim tab menu, you've got items, map, and magic. There's no level up thing. Instead, to level up, you have to do meditation, which is activate it like a power, and you get taken to this little spectral realm here, right? Which looks fantastic. I mean, Jesus, look at that. Fantastic effect. And you have these different standing stones around you. These are basically the level up menus from Skyrim, with a little bit more pizzazz, you know. So in classic fashion, I really like playing in-your-face, heavy armored warrior types. So I've got that here as the warrior stone. Over here, you've got the stealth stone. They even have the same colors as Skyrim, right? Red for warrior, green for stealth, blue for magic. And then you have some little side stones here. This one is just for being a werewolf. Like, there's a werewolf skill tree. If you want to go down it, start here. And it's really cool, right? So you get these things called memory points, which is the leveling system in this game. And it unlocks quote unquote memories, because, you know, in classic RPG style, you've got amnesia and you've got to unlock your memories on who you are. And that's how the leveling system works, is remembering who you are is your build, right? So you're like, oh yeah, I used to be a werewolf. This memory allows you to use wolf blood potions and chimica as a means to transform into a werewolf. On this tier, the duration of your transformation is limited to 3 minutes. Strength of the wolf form is calculated on many factors, like your alchemy level, your attributes, your weapon skills. So yeah, this is like a combination of alchemy and werewolves, which is really cool from a roleplay standpoint, right? Like, you're brewing potions to make you into a werewolf, but also you're becoming a powerful like alchemist, right? So you're making your own potions to transform yourself like a mad chemist, which is cool. This one, which I only just started going into, is soul smithing, where basically you can find souls around the world as like unique drops. So like a specific location will have the soul of a specific named character. And if you find them, you can trap them with the Net of Souls ability. Tier 1 allows you to see souls at level 1, and then it goes all the way to level 5. So there's different tiers of souls. And then you basically get to summon these as a companion, and they have certain bonuses and stuff. I'm still unlocking it. I was under the impression that it was some sort of stat buff because the soul I found had skills associated with it. It's like, oh yeah, this is for two-handed and heavy armor. I'm like, oh cool, those are my skills. I would love to have those. Turns out it's actually not that. It is instead a summon, like an NPC summon who is then skilled with heavy armor and two-handed weapons. So might actually not be the best since that's already kind of my deal. So now I'm looking into maybe trying to find an archer or a wizard soul. Because the other thing is you have to equip them. There's a skill called like phasmalizing, something like that, where basically you can take weapons and sacrifice them to make a phasmal version of it that you then give to your NPC summon to use. So I'm like, well, if I find a really good two-handed weapon, I want to keep it. I don't want to give it away. To give you an idea of how interesting the skills are, because that's always a criticism I've had of Bethesda games and all that. You know this, Claudia. We talked about this at dinner the other night. The skills are fucking boring in a lot of modern Bethesda games, right? It's the most bare basic, like it's either damage, which is stretched across like 20 abilities, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, plus 20% damage with a specific weapon type. And then another 20% with a specific weapon type. And then another 20% with a specific. So it's like, oh yeah, you invested in this, you get a good return on your investment, but it basically means like, oh, I only can use one very specific weapon, which is boring, right? You want to have some variety, like try out some new things. I much preferred like New Vegas' style where it was a little bit more broad, where it's just like ballistics, energy weapons, so you could find at least some variety in there, right? And like you're like, oh, I've got a pistol, I just found a cool shotgun, I can at least swap to that because it's the same category. I don't like the specific. So this is our warrior tree. This gives you an ability that gives you rage, which raises your weapon damage. Cool. It gives you an entire ability. That's awesome. Also reduces the weight of heavy armor to encourage you to, you know, do heavy armor stuff because you're a warrior. You can upgrade this, right? So it has different tiers to increase the duration. And then you have the different trees here. This middle one is tanking and shield stuff. This right one is one-handed, and this left one is two-handed, which I'm kind of figuring out right now, right? Because like on one hand, this one is shield stuff, which I can't use as much, but it does also give heavy armor stuff, which can make you insanely tanky, though I'm still kind of figuring that out. I might want to even go over and start doing some light armor stuff later. I don't know. I'm figuring that out. Stamina is another thing. Stamina is actually something you need to play around as a melee character now. You can't just go in and just swing nonstop. Like stamina drains so quickly just from attacking, moving. Like it feels like an actual, like an RPG where you have to play around these things. So far I have the Vandal, which improve your handling of two-handed weapons. It gives you increased attack speed basically. If I upgrade it, I do more damage with it as well. This one I have max. Oh no, so the first one was increased damage. This one is increased attack speed. Brute, which is Warhammers and ignore armor rating, which is huge because armor rating in Bethesda games especially is kind of wacky and scales crazy, so being able to ignore portions of it is always a huge DPS boost just because of how it's calculated in the engine. Increased damage and parry blows and shield bashes, but also the damage you take yourself. So this is cool, right? This is a stance ability, the Skaragian stance, which is, you know, some fucking vaguely Viking sounding thing. Basically, it's a berserker stance. So stances are another way to make melee characters less boring. So now you can switch between stances that give you different stat bonuses. So for instance here, I have at max, because I've maxed this out, 20% increased damage, 200% more power, which is basically stagger, and 20% less damage resistance. So I take more damage, but every time I hit an enemy, especially because I'm using a Warhammer, this is fantastic synergy. It just staggers them. And staggering is very big in this because both you and enemies can be staggered. So if you can stagger an enemy, it's like the safest way to play. And then finally, also health regen when fighting with a two-handed weapon. If I'm in combat and the two-handed's in my hand, I have health regen. This is one of the only like 3 ways to get health back in the game, which is huge. I have 3 memory points right now. Neat. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I need to really focus in here for a second and read. Also, again, directional attacks. So happy to have them in this, you know, with different effects. I know they were in base Skyrim, but they really didn't do much there. So it's nice to see some actual effects on them that are decent. Double recoil hit. Stamina reduction is huge. Double damage crit while sprinting is huge for opening a fight. Those are both on my list here, but I first need to see what I can get in the heavy armor tree here. Yeah, lower chance to get staggered is huge. Don't care about falling damage as much. 6 seconds of insane damage reduction is awesome. Weight reduction on heavy armor is great for carrying stuff. Magic damage reduction on heavy armor would be great. Mages are terrifying monsters. This. Okay. Let's check out some of these other ones. Stamina regen up 20% is kind of insane. I think this is the stealth tree. Teleports behind target, you become invisible and increase your critical hit chance. Yeah, that's pretty fun for doing ninja stuff. That's good. Oh, so this is also alchemy. So I guess a light armor character will synergize really well with the werewolf stuff. But lock picking and archery. Honestly, I mean, that's why I always used to play rogue characters too. The synergy between these trees is fantastic, because over here you have stealth, over here you have light armor, which helps stealth. Over here you have lockpicking and arrows. So like you can take all of those trees and they work well together, versus this where it's like you're going two-handed, you don't care about shield perks. If you're going one-handed, you don't care about two-handed, and vice versa. So like you're never gonna fill out this tree unless you just like swapping between different types of melee weapon, but there's not really a good reason to do that. Maybe I'm going to go do some wizard stuff soon. You can take apparitions into cities, okay. So it looks like that tells me that the health, mana, and stamina of my apparition are based on my own attributes. In which case, maybe it would make sense to have an apparition that matches my build. You can make talismans from souls for rank 4, rank 3. Okay, so these are literally just like 2 unlocks. Better bows, better arcane. Okay, so it's basically warrior, rogue, and wizard style apparition bonuses. You can improve enchanted weapons and armor. I do want that, actually. I do want that a lot. Yes, okay, that's another thing. Enchanted weapons, much like Oblivion and older games, are actually important now. They're not just like, oh, here's a sword, but it does like some extra damage and you have to recharge it once in a while. Like, there are enemies that don't take fucking physical damage. Having an enchanted weapon is enormously important against certain enemies like ghosts and such. So, you can make talismans of Tier 1. You can summon the apparition bound to your equipped amulet. If it dies or leaves the reality due to other reasons, you are getting arcane fever proportional to the health the apparition lost since it was summoned. That's fucking horrible. Man, I don't want to summon that guy then. Fuck that guy. I would have to, okay, it's probably going to be better later, but I would have to get 2 points invested to being able to improve enchanted weapons and armor, which is huge, right? So I'm going to have to do that anyways. I'm going to check out the wizard tree real quick, right? I can give you guys more story stuff, but this is also just me being reacquainted with the game. Okay. You unlock all mage disciplines. You also receive a permanently boosted mana regeneration, as well as talent focus, which lowers mana cost for all spells by 33%. That's pretty cool. Thaumaturge. Which one's you? Enhances light and mental. Okay. Just elementalist for pure damage. And Sinistrope, which is psionics and entropy. Neat. Okay. Elemental spells. We know what they are. Fireballs, ice balls, lightning balls, fire and frost. That's interesting. Okay. So lightning is its own thing, getting a 20% damage boost instead of the 15 over here, but this one is fire and frost work in conjunction. That's neat. And that's dual casting, of course. Okay. Arctic Wind hurls a cone of frost, which shortly freezes your enemies. Frozen enemies have higher base damage resistance, but there's a small chance of shattering them with a hit. Shock spells, blunt weapons, and power attacks increase. I mean, that's got power. So they have more damage resistance when frozen, but they have a chance to shatter. And I use two-handed warhammers, and it says blunt and power attacks increase chance. So again, that's cool build synergy, right? Like, I could be like a frost warrior that freezes people and then breaks them with a hammer. That's great. Okay. You hit an enemy with a frost or fire spell, and their health is low. The enemy flees if hit by a fire spell and is paralyzed if hit by a frost spell. Okay, neat. Reduces mana, whatever. If you hit an enemy with a shock spell and their health is low, they're instantly disintegrate. I love lightning. Lightning is just, it's always been my favorite element in these games. Runes now can be placed, and the duration of your elemental spells is permanently increased. X also the time for which targets are on fire and targets who are still by frost. Okay, that's good. Yeah, 'cause I was gonna say, if it's just rune stuff, I don't care. I don't know. I've never had a good use for runes, like traps and stuff. Combat just ends too quickly in this. Reduces mana cost of elemental spells. AoE shock. Shock spells do more damage. Elemental things dual cast. Okay. Okay, neat. Yeah, so it looks like fire and frost kind of get bound together as like two sides, right? Where fire is just more outright damage, frost has more crowd control and synergy with meleeing, which is neat. And then lightning is, I mean, lightning's always been like the anti-wizard spell, right? Because the classic thing is fire just does more health damage, frost drains stamina, so it's better against like warriors and stuff. And lightning drains mana, so it's good against mages because you can just basically drain them before they can hit you with stuff. So like on one hand, I love the synergy with frost and my two-handed hammer playstyle. I also love lightning because A, it's cool, and two, fuck wizards. Okay, that's a lot to think about there. Okay, let's go check out this. So light magic is something I care about because as a warrior, you know, buffs, paladin stuff is my whole vibe. I love paladin things, so I feel like that's where I'm gonna gravitate towards. Let's see if it's good. And also, let's see if mental stuff is good. Base percent increases, don't care. Mana cost reduction, don't care. Enchantments are better. A free arcane fever reduction once a day. That's pretty fancy. Okay. Increase the effect of all armor spells. Cool. Allow you to cast more powerful version. Okay, dual casting. Incapacitate an enemy for a short period of time. Absorbs his mana and stamina in batches and deals them the drained energy as damage when the effect ends. Especially effective against mages. Can only be used on enemies who are at most 8 levels above you. That's okay, that's actually really funny and cool. So there's, again, a lot of fights here are super dangerous. This is not base Skyrim. Like every fight you're in, especially if it's at or above your level, is potentially lethal. So having the ability to just take someone out of the fight and give you stamina and mana back is fantastic. Healing spells also restore stamina. That's nice. Mana cost of mental and light spells of the adept level by 30%. There. I absorb things when they hit the ward. Okay. Magic resistance up 20% max, which is just nice. Reduces mana cost of mental. Healing spells increase your arcane fever 33% less. That's wonderful. Spells against the dead are better. If you would die while this talent is in effect, your health instantly regenerates and enemies around you are repulsed. That's fun. Absorb 10% of the mana cost of all spells which are cast on you. Finally, Mental Master. Okay, not a ton of cool stuff there, but it's just like nice to have, right? Oh yeah, that's another thing. I think entropy spells drain health from you to use. Devoured the souls of dead enemies. Lol. Invisibility stuff. Neat. Okay. Oh god, that's a lot to think about. Okay. Okay, reduced chance to be staggered. Big. Increasing the quality of my armor, which is all enchanted. Big. And then starting to go into battle mage stuff could also be big. Okay. All right. Yep, that's what I want. I want the ability to increase the quality of armor and stuff. That's the first thing I want. Also, Okay, no, honestly, I think my damage is fine. I do want more defenses, so I'm gonna start going into that. Okay. Unmeditated. Neat. Okay, back here. No souls. Just remembering what everything does here. Okay, I've got a bow, I've got a warhammer, I've got a sword, and I've got Tempest equipped right now, and then also I can go into Scarakian stance. Neat. All right. Now, to catch us up on what I've been doing, though, because as you can see, I'm obviously not in the starting area anymore. This is not going to be a perfect recollection because it's been a bit since I played, but the general gist, the vibe, is that I walked down the Sun Coast here and I ended up in a little town. I met a guy named Jasper who saved my life. Those healers I talked about earlier, the ones that told me about my arcane fever, got blown up shortly after. And I mean literally blown up. Like they saw something in the distance, something hit the camp we were at, it blew up, we were flung away to safety, and they died. Jasper, a local roguish adventurer, came and saved us, brought me up, and kind of gave me the vibe and lay of the land and said like, hey, I've got a job I'm doing. If you want to come and help me with it, we can get you to the capital city and we can try to figure out your arcane fever nonsense. Neat. Now, we also then walked along and did missions. There's a town here called Riverville. Cute little town. Got some missions, went to these areas all around here. You know, the normal Elder Scrolls style questing stuff that I will say the writing has been a fair bit better than the normal Bethesda stuff I'm used to. Then we went on a big trip where we went across the lands down this road, and boom, we found out in the capital city of Ark, which actually very nicely has a map down here in the corner, so you can actually have like internal navigation without using, you know, the local map that they do, which is fucking disgusting and never useful. Yeah, and then from there we've just been doing more quests. Now, the current ones we've got, you know, there's a bunch of things that have just been, you know, like someone has a one-off, like, hey, I want you to go check on my daughter that lives over here because I haven't heard from her. Hey, I want you to go collect some fucking bird eggs. Oh, the basic stuff. Now, our main mission up here, though, part of something momentous, part 1. Lashari used the taming ritual on me, which was supposed to lessen and stabilize my arcane fever. Nonetheless, something weird happened. Something which even Lashari cannot explain. As others before her, she called me strange. At any rate, the solution to this problem has to wait. I should return to the Sun Temple to report Firespark first. Now, I'll be honest. I don't remember who Firespark is, so I don't know if this is a typo or not. I don't know if I'm reporting Firespark to doing something or reporting... Oh, no, it says report to Constantine. So I guess Firespark did something. I don't remember. Lashari was someone that was like a fucking mage or wizard or something. Basically, they casted this to try to reduce the arcane fever, and it didn't work. Which is weird, because they're like, usually arcane fever is just for wizards, and you're not doing any wizard stuff. And usually they have to practice for years to unlock the ability to do magic, but you just sort of gain the ability out of nowhere. You know, classic special Snowflake. To give you another cool vibe of this game, they have unique set armor, which is awesome. So I went on a big adventure on my lonesome to go get this full armor set because it looked cool. The set of Selna, you know, heavy armor, knight stuff, bucket helmet, a bucket helmet, always here for the bucket helmets. And that involved me going to a bunch of different crypts. I think like that place, I want to say those Fortress Fogwatch was a big one. They had like puzzles in them, story stuff, and at the end, I got cool armor. So now, Time to decide what I'm actually going to be doing here. So I'm over here in the Heartlands. We've got some unexplored towers nearby. You know what? I think story-wise, it makes sense to go back to the main city. And does this game have fast travel? No, no, it doesn't. Isn't that beautiful? There's no fast travel. Which, yeah, you know, a hit or miss depending on the game. They have actual signs that tell you where things are. God, it's so good. The exploration in Enderal so far has been incredible. Like the size of the world this dev team has made, the quality of the writing, the fact that it has the Skyrim engine, but it's using actual I contracted gangrene. I have gangrene. Get the fuck out of here. Begone. As you can see, I get experience points up top, EP. Begone, dog. And when I level up, I will get a new memory point. Oh yes, I should also check if I have any of scrolls, crafting. So the skill system in this is split, right? So you've got the talent points, which is the traditional classic method, right? Where you get to see, where do I see character info? Also, God bless them for having an integrated guy UI system in it. Thank you for having a good one. 15% less effective with melee. Oh, that's dog shit. Oh my god. Okay. Wow, that will fuck my whole build up. So they have the normal stuff, right? So you get a experience over time, and then you get a talent point, and you spend that in the meditation menu to boost up your melee, your magic, you know, the damage stuff that everyone needs in order to play the game, because Bethesda games are not full RPGs, they're action RPGs, right? Like the answer is murder most of the time. Having a non-combat build is kind of fucking impossible. The reason I bring this up is because this is a key issue in the game design of Bethesda games, where they can't balance themselves well ever, because you have the option with every level to either go into perk that gives you 20% or more fucking damage, or the ability to lockpick, the ability to fucking talk to people, the ability to craft things, which is kind of dog shit. There are some things, right, where like there can be speech skills and stuff that influence combat, but most of the time it's the question of, do you want to be better in combat or out of combat? But when the changes are so drastic, when you have a perk that can increase your damage that much, how does a dev balance this game? When they're like, okay, so at this level, the player should be getting here at around level 20. That means that they're either doing this much damage, or if they took these perks, 300% more damage. How do they balance the enemies? Do they make it a cakewalk? Do they make it so you have to spec into combat in order to succeed? Where is the line drawn? I really like that this game took some skills, notably the crafting one, and they moved them into their own category. So you see in the books here, right? I have crafting book for alchemy, specifically an expert level one. Increases alchemy for expert up to skill level 75, which costs 1 crafting point. So as you level, you gain crafting points, which you can spend by reading these books, right? So I don't want to read this expert one because I'm not good enough at alchemy. It's kind of a waste, right? So you've got, like, for instance, this one here, right? I've got adept. This can go up to level 50. I want to say there's apprentice too. So basically it's, you get apprentice books, you read them until you hit the cap, and then you move up to the next. So I'd go from apprentice until I'm level 25, and then I would read the adept until level 50. And that way, I don't have to fuck up my progress in terms of my ability to succeed in the core part of the game, combat, but I still get to engage with those mechanics on the side. you know, a key complaint I had about Starfield, where many of the crafting and shipbuilding perks were things that you had to spec into heavily, which is cool from a role-playing aspect, but very bad from a game progression standpoint. Because you will be in a situation where you're like, do I want to do an immense amount of damage, which I need to do in every single mission in this game? Or do I want to have the ability to even use the crafting mechanic, to even use the base building mechanic, to even use the shipbuilding mechanic? That sucks. So I really like that they have the skills and the talents in this. And then the skills use different. See, this one use learning points because it's marksman. This is for archery. So combat stuff, wizards, rogues, warriors, all of their skills take learning points, which again, you get organically from leveling. And then you also get crafting points, which is for stuff like alchemy, lockpicking, stealing, speech is another one, which is great. It means that you're like, okay, what do I want my, let's say, civilian skills, my crafting skills to be? And what do I want my combat skills to be? And they're separate. They don't get in each other's way, which is huge.
Sir.
So this is Ark, the city. Sorry, I was, you know, monologuing this with you here. We have the map of it down here. Now, of course, this doesn't tell me where I'm actually in it, but I do know where I entered from, which was the west, which means I'm in the foreign quarter. Over here, we've got the military quarter, the marketplace right in the middle, the south quarter, the undercity, the nobles quarter, and the sun temple. Now, I believe I have to go to the sun temple right now.
Yes.
Oh, and also they do have internal traveling. So if I just click on this, I can fast travel to anywhere in the city, which is, again, great. I think fast travel has a place. I don't think it should be as easy as it is in, again, base Bethesda games where you just click on any waypoint you've ever been to and you fast travel there. I think it's just it's not a fun gameplay loop, especially with how quest markers are done, where it's like, oh yeah, here's a quest. Do I have to read it? No. Do I have to listen to it? No. Do I have to care about it at all? No. I'm just going to go to where the diamond is. I fast travel to the nearest thing. I run 100 feet. I'm there. I fast travel back. It takes like 10 minutes. You lose a little bit of now, and that's the thing. It's like people always say, like, you can choose not to. Right? You can choose not to. You can take the long way, but there's a difference, right? It's like the player has to opt into handicapping themselves, and then the game isn't designed with it in mind. When they cut corners and they expect the player to fast travel around, then they're less likely to put interesting shit in between. Again, Starfield syndrome, where at most you get a POI, which you've probably seen before. So the traveling back and forth is so mundane, you want to fast travel. But then because of that, every adventure is 8 to 10 minutes of you just fast traveling somewhere, zooming through because you're just honing in on that blue diamond, and then you're there. You get it, you fast travel back, you're done. It doesn't feel like an adventure. But then when you're in the Enderal, you have to walk places. But then when you're in the city, right? In the city, you're turning in quests, you're buying things, you're preparing for your next outing, then you have the easy fast travel. Anyways, I'm going to the sun temple. Now, it's not to say there is no fast travel options. They do have the cart system of Skyrim. So, like, if I wanted to go back to Riverville, I don't have to drive. I don't have to run there. I can just talk to the cart guy, be like, hey, here's a little bit of money. Take me there. You know, and that's perfectly worth it, because that means that there's a little bit of a cost. Money's hard to come by, so you don't abuse it, but then you kind of plan around it like, okay, I got a couple quests in Riverville. I'm stacking them up. Okay, let's go take a trip over there and clean all that stuff up. This is the Sun Temple. As you can see, we've kind of got our Imperial adjacents here, very Roman inspired, but I've got to say the drip is immaculate. That armor set is ballin'. Ugh. I won't try. I promise I will not use this as just a thing for me to rant about issues I have with more modern Bethesda design choices, but Just as a quick one, hey guys, remember when the armor sets in the game looked fucking good? Remember when you would see a faction armor and you'd be like, I'm gonna join this faction just to get the armor. My deep and unrelenting sadness playing Shattered Space. Finally getting the Varun Keep Armory unlocked to find out that they don't sell any Varun armor or weapons. Actual pain. Oh, no. Okay, so Constantine Firespark. So it is report to Firespark. The game has a little bit of, they have some typing sometimes. It's fine. So, Lashari performed the ritual on me. There were problems in Old Rashengrad.
Yes, I know. She's already told me everything. Good work. Even though part of her report seemed to be a bit enthusiastic. But I'll leave the judgment to Aranthiel. He wants to talk to you anyway. Seems you've caught his interest.
Actually, yeah, thank you. Tell me again, who's Arenthal?
Didn't I tell you that already? He's the highly esteemed, holy Grand Master of the Order. Tilor Aranthiel, son of Lorius the First, praised be his name. An old legend, risen from the dead, or something like that.
Alright, where can I find him?
In the Emporium, the last building on the left side of the temple. Just tell the guard that Aranthiel has asked for you, and they will let you in. Ah yes, before I forget. My dame Lucy has left a token of gratitude for you. It's your choice. Do you want a book, an old map, or a bag of pennies?
150 pennies, treasure map, 2 learning points. Yo, give me that treasure map.
Very well.
More interesting.
I'm sure we'll talk again later.
Neat. You know what? Actually, I can probably check too. We could save as much as possible from Old Rashengrad, and we managed to extinguish the fire. Lashari tried to use the taming ritual on me, but I reacted unusually strong to her magic. Nevertheless, my magic now should be tamed, which means I'm not in critical condition anymore. Lashari said that I should immediately return to Constantine. Okay, that's right. Okay, so we went to the old Rashengrad, which was kind of like the Dwarven ruins from, or the Dwemer ruin from Skyrim, and basically met Lashari there. And then there were it was either bandits or tomb raiders or there were, ne'er-do-wells in the crypt. And there was a big fire that broke out, and all these books were getting burned. And then you had to run around with basically an extinguishing spell that she gave you to like put out the fires. It was, it was cool. It was a set piece, right? Give you a new spell to cast to go put out fires while you're fighting through people. It was interesting. Okay. Also, let's check out that fucking treasure map. Okay. Probably in books. Yep. New spell. Excellent. Wow. Okay, I can work with that. Okay, so to the northeast of Ark and the temple, just across that little river between that bend and the road. Yeah, okay, actually, I think I can work with that. Yeah, actually, that would be right about there. Okay, we'll go find that later.
Oh, you're here? I thought you were in the city.
No, the Archmagister ordered me back. Feels good to be here, to be honest. The funerals. I could have done without them, though.
I
What
don't
a
doubt that.
comfortable position for a
I
conversation.
still can't believe that really happened. Brother Yarrow, he was such a good man.
I don't think the Red Madness cares much about that.
Probably not, no. I wonder how it happens, the infection.
What do you mean?
Well, the red eyes and the obvious madness only happen in the last stages of the disease. What happens before that? And how? How can one tell someone else is afflicted?
Why, scared you've caught it, are you?
That is not funny. You know, I've had this feeling that there's something wrong with Yarrow for quite some time, long before it happened.
You don't say. His wife was murdered. Don't you think that would have thrown you out of balance too? Path-abiding Enderalian or not?
That's not what I mean. Her death broke him, yes. But there was no hatred in him, only grief. The hatred only came shortly before he did it.
Sorry, but I don't really see what you're going at.
I'm just trying to say that, well, maybe we all should be careful. Maybe it was Yarrow's grief, his instability, that made him susceptible to the Red Madness in the first place. But let the Flameling and the Apothecary find that out.
Okay.
I have to go now.
That was a good little lore
Long
dump.
play.
So yeah, I completely forgot about that. There's this thing going around called the Red Madness.
Yes.
Basically, your eyes are red and you're mad. You know, pretty fucking basic. You know, nothing crazy there. Ooh, I've been down here. What a view. And yeah, as they said, they don't know what causes it.
Malfast's blessings.
Sun Temple Armory. Am I come in here? Am I allowed? Oh, yes.
Ah, do you now? Well, if the keepers let you run around in here, I suppose you have business with the Order. So I guess there's no harm in trading with you. But don't think it will cost you any less than somewhere else.
As you can see, they've remodeled some armor, right? So like leather stuff is the same, but then they have this new leather cuirass. They have a new iron helmet. Basically, they're just reducing the Vikingness of base Skyrim armor, because Skyrim armor is all, you know, excessively Viking-y. Neat.
Walk blessed.
I also noticed that I've got a crafting recipe for a placeable dresser. So I'm wondering if they're gonna have like the full home building stuff of Hearthfire, because that would be fantastic, honestly. If they do, I haven't encountered it yet, though.
Places this.
Let's continue with our main quest, though. We have a guy to go talk to. But I'm also just exploring the Sun Temple, because I didn't even know about this little balcony area down here. Aww. Oh, Butcher of Ark. Neat. Okay, yeah, I've got a quest to read the Butcher of Ark well, books scattered around. Basically, I found one, and it's like, oh, this is a biography on a serial killer.
This is
Go
holy ground,
read them all.
Outlander.
I guess the
You
characters
don't
just
belong
love serial killer fan work, so that's neat. Oh, workbench. That's right. Thank God I spent 2 skill points being to upgrade these. Now I can get an extra 4 armor. 5 armor.
Brother, did you get
5 armor. 8 armor. Cool. 22 total armor.
Take care of it as soon as possible. Your sister will be fine. I
Lol. Okay, time to grind my hammer. Oh, I don't have malachite. Lame. Well, either way. Oh, the secure chest. Oh, I forgot. Okay, another fantastic feature. They have a thing called the secure chest. This is basically a magic inventory in towns. You can drop off your shit. Oh, I forgot about that. Again, just like such a nice feature to have. I think I brought these back to sell them. I don't think I want any of these. I don't think I want any of that stuff. Yeah. God damn it. Okay, well, actually, I am going back down to the armor. Just real quick, like, just gotta do some quick inventory management. Hi, I'm here to sell you my bullshit. Do you take enchanted weapons?
Do you now?
Yes, I do. I
Well,
doth.
if the keepers let you run around in here, I suppose you have
Buy
business
that.
with the order. So I guess there's no harm in trading with you. But don't think it'll cost you any less than somewhere else.
I'm gonna save the claymore and that sword, because the sword I can use if I need to do one-handed stuff. And then she won't take the staff. I'm gonna have to send that to like a wizard of some sort. Like alchemist and magic shit. Yeah, that's the one. Neat. Oh, that gave me a quest? Okay. Sure. Sweet.
Greetings. Well then, I am Taurus Flameling, apothecarius by my path. My companion and I work together with the Arcanists here, and we investigate the Red Madness.
Tell me a little bit more
How may
about your
I help?
order, the League of the Apothecari. Yeah, the Apothecaries are the ones that found me in the beginning and helped me out. They seem pretty chill.
With all due respect to your thirst for knowledge, I am not a magister, and I've got my hands full. In a nutshell, we are healers, and our path is to cure ailments with magic and all. Our monastery is far to the north, in the Frostcliff Mountains. However, you won't be able to reach it at the moment due to the heavy snowfall. And in case that doesn't sate your appetite, there are a couple of books about us in the library, or maybe even the Chronicum.
I've got a mission to get knowledge about Enderal. So whenever something's tagged with the knowledge in parentheses, it lets you know you're going to.
Well, then you've come to the right place.
Sweet. Bye.
Walk blessed.
Does the enchanting system work? I have no enchantment. Well, not deep enough in to do enchanting stuff yet. Gonna have to find better things to disenchant and learn enchantments and all that. All right, cool. Inventory management done. Let's proceed. Yes. It's a thin fucking building. Okay.
Well met.
It is a suspicion, Teela. And to send an
who
entire
are you?
division across the sea because of a suspicion is madness.
We need to find out who sent the mercenaries. This Pegast said that they were after the Signet Stone, and if they succeed in getting hold of it next time, then the Black Guardian alone knows how... Stop the cycle.
The cycle. Listening to you talk almost makes me forget that all this fuss here is merely based on some bad dreams you and your Neremese friends had.
The threat is real. Deny it as much as you like, but deep inside, you feel it as much as I do.
Teela, you're a commander, and a commander doesn't care about feelings, but about facts. You made this mistake before, Teela, back then in Kira, and we all
Natara,
know
the mission will happen. I'm sorry.
Who are you?
you have a visitor.
Yes, I've been jumping all over your table.
So, you are the prodigy everyone is talking about. Interesting. I am Teela Aranthia, son of Lorius I and Grandmaster of the Order, and I'm honored to meet you. What is your name?
I'm Stalvius. You wanted to see me.
Yes, and I will come straight to the point. You are here because I believe that you are special. Humanity faces a threat that needs to be stopped, and to achieve this, you are indispensable.
You're talking about the Red Madness, aren't you?
Among other things, yes. I do not need to explain to you that the present situation on Vin is chaotic. The wars, the living dead, common people who are losing their minds, to name only the most obvious. What most people are not aware of is the connection between these events. You, however, have encountered it, as have I.
The visions. So you know where they come from. Yeah, that's another thing I should bring up. I've had some weird fucking visions so far over the course of the game. The game actually opens up with a pretty unhinged one where you're a child and you're with your dad, I want to say, and he's accusing you of... It starts off like normal, you know, like, oh, it's just you and your dad, it's a peaceful cottage, and then it just gets more and more unhinged and horrific. The dad's accusing you of killing your mother and being responsible for her death in some way. And then the house catches on fire and he's ripping a deer apart with his bare hands and talking about eating meat. You know, it's fun and unhinged. You've had more of these kinds of visions too at certain points, because this game loves to use the player gets knocked out as a plot point. I've been knocked out like 6 times.
I do. And I will explain everything to you. What it means, who we are, and what your part in all of this is. Come, follow me. Maybe you already know who I am. My entire life, I served the gods who ruled Vin, until their death 2 years ago. What you probably do not know is that the one responsible for their death is my son, Narazul Aranthia. He hated the Lightborn because he believed that they robbed mankind of their right to freedom, so he strived to overthrow them. He found followers, formed an army and declared war on them, and thus on me, a servant of the Lightborn as well. It all ended in a battle 30 years ago, which Narazul won. He killed every single survivor except for me, and locked me in a dungeon on Nerim. I still do not know why he spared me.
If Nerthzol was your son, why did he hate the gods? Shouldn't he have been more, I don't know, devoted to them?
There were circumstances favoring the development, but it's a long story, which we won't discuss now.
Okay. And so if the Lightborn are really dead, If you, the Order of the Gods, acknowledge that fact, why do people not know about it?
Good question. Because at the moment, stability is the highest good. Even more so considering what we are facing. The rulers of Kira and Kile both made the mistake to acknowledge the death of the gods to their people, and the civil wars that followed in their countries are evidence of the chaos that such a revelation entails. Enderal is the cradle of the Order of the Gods, the epitome of theocracy. It is unthinkable what would happen if we confirmed these rumors. I am sure you understand this. Maybe when all this is over that will change, but for now it is imperative that we deny all rumors of that kind.
Don't tell the people God is dead. Gotcha.
Yes, after more than 30 years, when the death of the gods made the magic around the prison disappear. And during my escape in the northern mountains of Nerim, I also had them for the first time. The dreams.
Yeah. But as far as the different factions go, these are, I mean, the two that I could guess in terms of, like, guild-esque joinings are these guys, the Order, that run Ark, right? They said it's a theocracy.
And above all, like a veil, there was the knowledge of imminence.
And then also the Apothecari, who are like the healers. I vibe with the Order. They got this kind of, you know, the Holy Order aesthetic. Drips good.
2 days after my escape, I was completely exhausted, and I would have died if a former acolyte of my son had not found me. Yes, but he did not recognize me, and brought me to their headquarters instead, an old monastery in the mountains. The others were aware of my identity, but for whatever reason they did not kill me. Maybe because they thought that the death of the Lightborn had made me insignificant. I do not know. Still, even after my recovery, the dreams continued. At first I doubted my sanity, but after some time I told the leader of the mages, Constantine, about them. He said something that I'd never expected. I was not alone. He, as well as many others magically gifted on Vin, dreamed the same dreams. And the more we talked about the matter, the stronger our suspicion grew, which has now turned out to be the truth. The dreams, they come from the same place. They are a shared memory.
Shared memory? You mean the dreams originate from, what, a common mind?
The collective subconscious, yes. I know that you can feel it too, and probably far more intense than we do. But like you back then, we were not able to make sense of the images. So we went looking for answers in the remains of the civilization that was before us. The Pyreans.
Thus the excavations like in Odrashengrad. What did you find out?
3 things. First, there were many civilizations before us and before the Pyreans. Maybe hundreds, maybe thousands. Second, the history of each civilization unfolded and still unfolds according to a pattern. They emerge, they blossom, and at some point, at the apex of their existence, they simply disappear without any trace. And third, everything that has happened in the past years, and which is still happening, indicates that this disappearance lies ahead of us. We are part of an eternal loop, a cycle, and our cycle is approaching its end.
So this is your explanation for the Red Madness. The wars?
Yes, dramatically put, they're the envoys of the end. Not identical, but one can split them up into episodes which repeat themselves in the very same manner, into patterns.
You say that the end of humanity lies ahead.
Yes, it does. At first we considered it absurd, as probably you do at this moment. But there came a moment when we simply could not deny it anymore. We began to study the history of the Pyreans more intensely, and the parallels were extraordinary. In its early days, the Pyrean Empire was split up by a disaster, just like Vin was split up by the Starfall after the reign of the Eterna. Also, the Pyreans had a ruling caste who declared themselves gods after the catastrophe. The two castes of the Sun Priest. They too ruled until they were overthrown. This overthrowing was followed by an outbreak of wars and chaos. And then, just like that, the Pyreans ceased to exist. They knew it was imminent, but they could not prevent it. They called this event the Cleansing.
How does an entire civilization disappear?
That is the question we need to find an answer to. The end was not violent, at least not in a sense as we know it. There was no natural disaster, no magical explosion, no plague. Even though there was war in the Pyrean Empire before its ruin, when the cleansing happened, it was as if all living beings simply fell down and died. It is ghastly. Well, this is the reason why we need your help. Not only episodes of history recur within every cycle, characters do as well.
Characters recur?
Yes, the Pyreans call them the emissaries. They emerge very shortly before the cleansing occurs, like a law of nature, an answer to the Red Madness. And I am one of them, as are you. While I take on the role of the ruler, you take on the role of the prophet.
I'm supposed to be a prophet?
It's just a description. Call it what you will. But without doubt, it is the truth. Your story matches the descriptions perfectly.
I take it this is the reason the Neremese mages are here, isn't it? Firespark, Pagas, and Sharim?
Yes. Former enemies or not, both sides have understood the magnitude of the threat. The magical knowledge of Narazul's former mages is vast, as is the power of the Holy Order. Even though not all of the Keepers agree, as you probably have already noted yourself.
And if I play a role, does that mean that something's controlling me? Controlling us?
No. As I already said, the emissaries simply appear at the beginning of the end, like pieces on a chessboard. We are determined by our skills. How and to what end we use them is our choice. On the one hand, your power. You carry the potential to master any skill within a fraction of the usual time needed. I assume you have already realized this.
Yes.
On the other hand, your ability to look into the past, and therefore into the future.
I mean, okay, I think it's clear what he means, but okay. Into the past, and therefore into the future. What do you mean? It's a
Your
cycle.
Visions are a window into the past. And as every cycle is based on the same events, it is a window into the future as well. You can feel the thread this world is woven with. And because of that, you can see things that have happened, and thus will happen again. This gift makes you indispensable to us, and it is why I want your help.
And if this doesn't interest me, you know, I do want to ask that. Why do you think that we can overcome this cycle in the first place, after hundreds of civilizations have failed?
That is the wrong question. The correct question is, what alternative do we have? To wait and die?
Based. All right, I'm with you on that. All right, if I can help, I will do so.
Good. However, there's one more thing before the actual work begins. I want you to join our order, and to do so, you have to pass a test. A trial.
Yeet. I wanted to join the order anyways.
It is the trial the novices have to pass in order to be exalted to the role of a keeper. Only the best students of the Squalor are allowed admission, and even though you have not been a novice, I want you to take it too. At this very moment, 2 novices are on their way to the testing grounds. I have informed them about your arrival.
Who are they?
I have only a slight acquaintance with them. However, I know that they are both very talented and have been working hard toward the test. But see them for yourself.
Very well. Where can I find them?
At the border to the Heartland, near the Whisper Wood. They will be waiting for you there. Take the Myret, talk to Signet Master Bartar, and hand him this package. And then follow his orders. Ah, one more thing. It might be self-evident, but keep your knowledge about the death of the Lightborn to yourself. I do not believe you can do any real harm, but in the worst case, path-abiding people will consider you a heretic. After the cycle has been stopped, we will deliberate upon how we deal with the matter. If and how we tell our people about it. But not now, that is for sure. No, Lee, we are part of an eternal loop, a cycle. And our cycle is
Haste. All right. Okay. That was a big and also interesting lore dump. Okay, yeah, so gods are dead. The other nations told their people and had civil wars over it. The theocracy here in Enderal has been maintaining it under the lie that the Lightborn are fine. The Lightborn are a previous race that took over after the Starfall. I believe the Starfall was the event that introduced magic to this world when basically a fucking meteorite hit the ground and scattered stuff everywhere. Kind of the same as Elden Ring. So yeah, all right. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to save here and end this one because we're a bit over an hour now, and you know, gave me a chance to re-explain the game, where we're at, and leave us off on a nice hook. So I'll see you later. Bye.